Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Hito here, and I will be telling you some of people's confusing, weird stories and encounters that still baffle them, so they shared them online. If you have a story to share, feel free to do so in the comment section for a chance to be featured in some of the next videos. And thank you for listening, liking and sharing. Let's start. Story 1. Both of my lungs collapsed at the same time, almost over 50% collapsed, and I was walking around like I was perfectly normal, until I decided to go to the ER for bubble sounds in my chest. None of the doctors could figure out why this had happened to me. They didn't know how I was just up and walking around and laughing. Edit, to answer questions. 1. I am a 5'7" thin woman. I have heard it is very common in tall and thin men. 2. Yes, it was bilateral pneumothorax. The doctor just couldn't figure out why it happened. 3. I ended up having 4 more spontaneous pneumothorax within the span of 2 years. 4. I was aged 19 to 21 when this was happening. 26 years old now. 5. They did a pleurodesis procedure to get it to stop happening. Hasn't happened since. Story 2. Time slipped by my friend and I one day. We got a contract in another town and drove out daily for 2 weeks. It was 1 hour to get there and 1 hour back, but one day it took us 3 hours to get back to town. My friend realized something was wrong when his wife called him up, asking why he turned his phone off and why he was so late. We left a little before 2 p.m. and the call came almost at 5 p.m. To this day, we can't explain it. And to further complicate matters, we both have receipts from a gas station we stopped at just before we got on the highway that are time-stamped a bit after 2 p.m. My theory is that the aliens took us for 2 hours, but who the hell knows? Story 3. My cousin's daughter, 4 years old maybe, says she talks to our dead grandpa all the time. One time my cousin caught her singing along to my grandpa's favorite song, giggling and running around the room. She asked her what she was doing, and she said, "I'm playing with Tata, and he's teaching me a song." She got so spooked because there's no way her daughter could have heard it anywhere. My cousin doesn't like to listen to it because the song reminds her of him and it makes her sad. It's also an old tango that you have to actively search on the internet to find. There are other things about her kid that are straight up weird, and everyone is convinced she's a medium or something. Story 4. I was driving across the US and drove into Salt Lake City. For whatever reason, I got a craving for IHOP, so I punched it into Google Maps and followed the directions to a spot in the middle of town. I walk in, and the place is empty. I don't mean like there were no customers. I mean there is literally not a person in the place. No wait staff, no customers, no cooks, nobody. There was partially eaten food on all the tables, bags and purses in the booths, TVs on everywhere, burgers on the grill slowly burning, and there wasn't a soul in the place, like they all just vanished at once. I was so freaked out I hopped in my car and drove until I hit the Nevada border before stopping to eat. Still have no idea what the fuck happened. Edit. To those asking, this happened on June 3rd, 2017 at approximately 4 p.m. Stayed around 5 to 10 minutes before booking it. I thought it might have been a robbery too, but figured what robber holds up an IHOP and leaves the purses untouched? Like I said, can't explain it. Calling the cops might have been a good idea, but on top of the fact I've never trusted cops, a few days before, I was pulled over by a Nebraska state trooper for a busted taillight, who used it as pretense to throw me in the back of his cruiser while he searched my entire car for a reason to arrest me. Was feeling wary of the blue after that. Besides, what was I gonna say? Some Lovecraftian shit's going down at the IHOP. Send backup.